It's our pleasure to welcome David Duchovny to our studio.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
Oh, it's
Morning.
so good to have you here. Now, obviously, you are extraordinarily well known as a very, very successful film and television actor.
Okay.
You're also pretty well known as a best-selling author.
All right.
And
I find I'm trying to make my voice deeper to
No,
hang
you're not
with.
going to match
I can't get down
do
there.
it.
Come on. But what I've been able to glean from the response that we've received from people who listen to the Q so far is that while there's unanimity as to recognition of you and your talents, there is not a high level of knowledge that you also are a songwriter, musician, band leader.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's really been a late in life turn for me. You know, I started making music about 8 years ago now, and it's like a mom and pop operation for us. It was never anything that I thought I would share with any kind of public. It was really something that I started honestly to amuse myself. As an actor, you have a lot of downtime in your trailer, so I thought, I'm going to learn how to play guitar. And then also I wanted my kids to play guitar, and I wanted to kind of model for them, because you're always telling your kids, practice, 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 and it's hard to learn a skill.
Right.
I was like, well, I'm going to put my money where I'm at. They're going to see me struggle and suck at something for a while, and then kind of break through.
But then you don't.
Well, no. You can withhold your judgment, but at first you do, and also just that you can. Music is just universal, and people will say, this is an actor playing music or whatever, and I guess that's a legitimate thing, but I always say just listen to the songs.
Well, no, you limit yourself by saying you're an actor playing music because you're an artist who acts and writes and sings.
Well, they're all different modes of expression, right? So I just happened to stumble upon this one a little later than I stumbled on the other one. So that's what I feel like is true, that you are an artist looking for modes of expression.
But there were signs early on because you wrote poetry at a very young age, which helps with writing lyrics.
Well, lyrics are a very specific kind of poetry, very interesting. And when I came to put words on music, to write lyrics, I was really faced with the difference between a poem, in which words have to do everything on the page, and lyrics, which have to get out of the way for the music and let this kind of symmetry and alchemy happen between the words and the music.
And how did you find your players?
It was really through Brad Davidson, who I'm working with. He knew these guys, and he thought we'd be a good fit, and we started collaborating on the first album on arranging, because I knew nothing about arranging and producing. I was really just a guy sitting in my room, strumming a guitar and singing. So they kind of turned my mistakes into happy mistakes and kind of shepherded me into the recording process. And now we're really a band in the true sense, where we collaborate in writing, and we're collaborators at this point.
Well, your first album was in 2015. And the second album, Every Third Thought, was just released recently.
Right.
It's on CD, but also on vinyl.
Yeah, love the vinyl.
It's a double vinyl gatefold LP.
Oh, is that what it is? You know what I think? It's not really a double album. I think that they just they don't cram the grooves like they used to. I think they want a better fidelity now, so you get fewer songs on the
Well,
vinyl.
they also want a cooler package, because part of the whole idea behind vinyl is, the tangible nature.
Yeah, well, it was for me.
I mean, look what we've got around here. We've got album covers.
Yeah, and also
when it was art.
Yes, and the sleeve with the lyrics on it.
Right.
You need a telescope to read the lyrics on a jewel box. So.
Well, the X-Files, Californication, Aquarius, Better Things. I mean, the acting credits, they just go on and on and on. And you're the only actor to have won a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Television Series in both comedy and drama, which reminds me, did you vote yet? The SAG Awards. The SAG Awards voting deadline is today, 3 p.m.
Well, because I want to keep my card, I'm going to have to say yes.
Well, I want you to.
I
just want to remind you. You don't have to vote, but I want to remind you because today is the deadline.
Thank you.
But you see,
I
David,
appreciate that. I wasn't aware.
Jim is the vice president of our SAG-AFTRA local, so that's why he's nagging
I didn't know that,
you.
Jim.
Well, I just want to make sure.
How did that happen? When did you get into politics?
That's not politics.
It is, because he campaigns. You should see him when he's up for re-election. He goes crazy.
How often do you come up for re-election?
Every 2 years.
He goes
so
nuts.
you're always campaigning. You can't ever rest. That's the problem with the system.
No, this one rests. He's not a typical politician.
Now, you are about to embark on a tour, and your first stop is going to be in Russia.
Wow, how cool.
And it'll be in Moscow on February 7th. Shelley was in Moscow with Billy Joel.
Really?
Yeah, so the first American rocker in what was then the Soviet Union. I was there, and just quick story, we didn't know, and Billy didn't know, how was the audience going to react?
Right.
And there were soldiers lining the stage, and Billy starts playing, and it's called the Bridge Tour.
Yeah.
And the soldiers start dancing with us in the aisles.
Nice.
It was extraordinary. What a moment.
What year was that?
That was in, 80...
Yeah.
That was in 88.
No, it was before then. It was 87.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was close.
You were close. Well, I peg it to my daughter's birth.
I was close.
Because she was 5 months old and I had to wean her.
So you start in Moscow and you'll
St.
be
Petersburg after that.
And then St. Peter. Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Have you been?
Historic city.
I've been to Moscow. I haven't been to St. Petersburg.
And Budapest. I'm sorry.
I know.
Vienna, Berlin, Dublin,
Where are you
London.
playing in Vienna? Are you playing at the Opera House?
Oh, good question. I'm not sure.
It's so cool there. It is one of the best buildings I've ever seen.
I've played Vienna before, and it was a great show we had. We had a huge turnout.
Okay, well, we're going to have a break, and when we come back from the break, David Duchovny is going to be in the next room with his band, and they will treat us to a live performance of a couple of songs.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
Okay, so that's coming up next right here at Q104.3. Well, they are. So let's welcome to Q104.3 David Duchovny and his band.
Thanks, Jim.
Every thought on the future and the past, all these thoughts on things that don't last, every second thought on what's false and true, every third thought on you, every third thought on you. Every thought on what was once green and new, all these thoughts like colors fade to blue, every second thought feels borrowed and untrue, every third thought on you, every third thought on you, every third thought on you. Why must the sky feel blue? Why must my thoughts turn into you? Now as the seasons change, why do I remain the same? Why do I remain the same? Why do I? Most every thought on what I have lost. Can't buy forgiveness if you don't know the cost. Every second thought just feels like a clue to every third thought on you. Every third thought on you. Every third thought on you. Why must the sky feel blue? Why must my thoughts turn into you? Now as the sea same? Why do I remain the same? Why do I remain the same? Why do I remain the same?
Thank you. That song was Every Third Thought, in case you couldn't guess. And this next song is called Stranger in the Sacred Heart. And the story behind this song is we were playing music in Paris. This is where my father actually died, which is how the song starts. I was just kind of in a melancholy state of mind, and I went to a church called the Sacre Kerr in Paris there, and I was told that people there don't pray for themselves, they pray for others, people they don't even know. And it struck me as a beautiful thing to do. So the song kind of comes about as a marriage between those two states of feeling. And yet, it's rock and roll. Here we go.
In the city where my father died, I found it very hard to hide. So many days gone by, but I let it slide. Famine, ignorance, and war I keep just outside my door. It's me, myself, and I let it slide. I let it slide. Down at the Sacred Heart, everyone plays someone else's part. The strangers in their rows pray for people they don't know. Just strangers in the Sacred Heart. My mind alone can't crack the code. In dreams these streets I somehow know. My feet take me where I need to go. They just slide. Just gotta let it slide. Down to the Sacred Heart. Everyone plays someone else's part. The strangers in their rows pray for people they don't know. Just strangers in the Sacred Heart. In another mother's tongue, the universal bell is rung. Haven't done enough for no one. Haven't done enough for no one. Haven't done enough. my dues, anonymous in ancient pews. In soccer, I lost my pride. I let it die. Just couldn't let it slide. That's how to mend your heart. Playing someone else's part. The strangers in their rows pray for people they don't know. Just strangers in the sacred heart. I'm a stranger in the sacred heart. Now,
It's David Duchovny and his
fooled you.
band.
I fooled you there.
David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hey, Jim.
Why don't you introduce the band?
Oh, shit.
Oh,
No!
I need to say, oh, snap. I have Colin. Well, I can't point. I'm pointing to my left.
okay.
Colin
Just wait a second for the delay to catch up. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Colin Lee on guitar to my left, which makes no sense in radio. Pat McCusker on my right, also on guitar. And behind me is Davis Rowan on percussion.
Okay, can you come on into the studio?
I'd love to.
Okay, all right. It's 8:28 here at Q104.3.
Well, that happens.
Yeah, it does. So let's get David back in here.
You know what? I wanted to actually, I loved your music, but I want to compliment you on something else, which I find extraordinary about you and your ex-wife, Taya Leone, because these guys were married, 17 years?
Yeah.
You have 2 teenagers.
Yeah.
And I just saw that you vacationed together with your kids over the holidays.
Yeah.
And I love that you get along that well and that you're setting such a good example. You know,
Thank
you're
you.
a family.
Yes.
And I love that about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, Princeton undergrad, Yale graduate school,
Yeah. It's come to this.
and author. Now, there was just something about one of your books, one of your book titles that I just wanted to mention. Of course, there was Holy Cow and Miss Subways, which was the most recent book.
Yes.
But Bucky Blanking Dent.
Yeah, another one not good for radio.
But it just made me laugh because our boss, Eric Wellman, known affectionately as Big E, he runs this big New York City rock station, but he is a diehard Boston Red Sox fan, big time. He's got a model of Fenway Park on his desk.
Oh,
this is a big, lifelong Red Sox fan working here at this New York radio station.
Or you could say a problem.
But he's also, fundamentally a baseball fan.
Right.
Loves baseball.
Yeah.
So when we had Bucky Dent up here one morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it shocked me that my boss didn't show up for work that morning.
He was afraid.
I said to him later, I said, we had Bucky Dent here. I mean,
Traumatized.
And he said, well, first of all, he called him the title of your book.
Oh, he did?
He referred to him as the title of your book. And he said, I said, well, yeah, but he's a legendary baseball player, an iconic moment in baseball history. You'd want to, meet him, shake his hand. And he said, I have no desire to shake the hand of the man who ruined my childhood. That's what he had to say about that.
That's beautiful. Well, I would love to send him a copy of my book.
Okay, and are you you're going to take the book to another level? I understand.
I would like to make it into a movie. Yeah. I have a screenplay and I have people involved trying to get it made. So one of these days we're going to do it.
Okay, now for your album, it's available at davidduchovnymerch.com.
That's a word I didn't know until I started playing music.
Right.
Merch.
It's all about the merch.
It's all about the merch.
davidduchovnymerch.com is where you can get the album, Every Third Thought. Of course, there are these social media outlets, davidduchovnymusic.com. That's the website. On Facebook, David Duchovny Official. Twitter at David Duchovny. Instagram at David Duchovny. And the YouTube channel is David Duchovny. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
here's
David
Duchovny.
Thank you so much,
Jim. It's a pleasure to meet you.
For getting up early.
And
It was nice to have been a part of your life when you were growing up.
Well, this is what I was saying is that I listened to WPLJ as a kid, 95.5, and you in many ways informed my musical taste. I have to say, now that I think back on it, because back then you were making your playlists, really, right?
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much, David.
Isn't that nice?
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah. Thank you for visiting us at Q104.3, and you're welcome anytime.
Thank you.